Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time again for the weekly Flicker Picayune. So turn down those lights and pass the popcorn as we celebrate the life and many loves of the Sonic Cinema Experience. And now, here he is, the Wikipedia of Wonders, the Prince of Panavision, the Sultan of the Silver Screen, the one, the only, Dr. Albatross.
Well, hello there, and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the weekly Flicker Picayune Tribune. Today we will again visit with Ed Underwood of the Sonic Cinema Experience. And today we'll be discussing one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, magic. And who better to talk than Ed? He has been a professional magician for over 30 years. He has entertained and baffled audiences, from Lake City, Arkansas to Las Vegas, Nevada. He has appeared on numerous television and radio shows, written and produced live theatrical musicals, is a published author of 4 books on hilarious history, and even won the coveted Golden Fingers Award for 4 original magic techniques. He is as amazing as his magic. Welcome back to the show, Ed.
Well, thank you, Doctor. It is always a pleasure to talk with you, especially about the art of magic.
I was so excited about your visit today that I went and whipped up a little surprise for you.
And listen, Doc, I just ate. No, seriously, I am totally good, but thank you.
No, it's not food. I know I spoiled you last time with my kidney bean sausage cabbage rolls.
Yeah, well, there was definitely spoilage.
No, today I got on YouTube and I learned a magic trick. I am going to show you something amazing for a change.
Oh. Well, that's great. Yeah, cool. Hey, listen, I'm ready. I will be pin and teller, and I say to you simply, fool us.
Okay, all right. I hope I can remember all of this. Okay, please shuffle the cards. Shuffle. Yes, now cut and put them on the table between us. Okay, now think of your favorite. Wait a moment. Wait, I've got to remember. It is a bit complicated. Okay, I've got it. Think of your favorite letter of the alphabet. You got it? Sure. Okay, now if that letter is in the first half of the alphabet, meaning the first 13 letters, then add 5 to it. And if it is in the last letters of the alphabet, take away the red cards. Wait, hold on. Yes, okay, you got that? Do you want the face cards or the number cards?
Numbers.
Then deal that many cards onto the table.
How many?
Well, that many. Good. Now turn over the card that you stopped dealing at. Take a look at it. There is a little slip of paper under your water bottle. It's been there the entire time. Please pick it up and unfold it. Does it say brown?
No. It says periwinkle.
Oh, for I'm sorry. Hold on. I know what I did wrong. I should have had you count the cards first. Silly me. Well, so much for my trick.
Calm down, Doc. Relax. No, it's okay. Relax, Doc. Don't feel bad, buddy. Listen, this can happen to anybody. Sometimes these tricks are complicated, right? So actually, what you just did there is a very good setup, a good opportunity for us to talk about magic. You know, magic is, in some places and sometimes, a very controversial subject. And of course, if I say, hey, I do magic, they know we're talking about magic tricks. But even at that, sometimes some people are a little uncomfortable. You use the word magic because they think it might mean something else, something bizarre and supernatural. And they're a little put off by that. I remember many times doing a lot of shows when I was growing up. I did a lot of magic shows in churches. And you would have people in the churches who had all different kinds of sentiments about the very topic of magic. To some, it was off limits. They were gone. They would not come back to that evening service if the magician was going to be there. And others embraced it readily. And there was a difference there in people's perceptions. Also, different churches, different denominations, different kinds of churches all had their own feelings about this. So it's still to this day, even in our modern science-based world, there's still a sense of awe around even the term of magic. And it comes from a Latin word, magicus, the old French magique. You blend them together to get the late Middle English term magic, and that's what we have. The dictionary definition of magic as a noun, the definition is the power of apparently influencing the course of events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. And the word is linked to sorcery, witchcraft, wizardry, enchantment, things of this nature. Mysterious tricks such as making things disappear and appear again, performed as entertainment, is another definition in the dictionary. Yet another, a quality that makes something seem removed from everyday life, especially in a way that gives delight. I like that one especially. Something informal as a definition, also in the dictionary for magic. Something that has a delightfully unusual quality. Oh, the menu over there at that restaurant, why, their appetizers are just magic. It's used as an adjective. There are a couple of definitions. Used in magic or working by magic, having apparently supernatural powers like a magic wand. It's very effective in producing results, especially desired ones. Oh, listen, the medications my doctor gave me, well, they just worked like magic. It also can mean wonderful and exciting, and that word can extend to a list that includes fascinating, captivating, charming, glamorous. What a magic moment. What a magical evening it was. What a magical time. Those are all things associated with the word magic. And it is interesting. The stage magician, the performing magician who's doing illusions, most of the time, these individuals, they are highly trained entertainers with very specialized knowledge that allows them to perform these types of acts, but they do not claim any supernatural powers. That would be quite the exception. However, it's important to realize that if you trace magic back to its theatrical roots, you find that theatrical magic, or illusions that look like supernatural magic, were meant to be symbolic of real magic. For instance, just to give you a silly, simple example, if the magician makes a handkerchief change colors, you could say that is a symbolic reminder that the leaves on the trees change color.
Yes.
And the sun changes colors at the sunset. So nature has its own magic, and the magician's magic symbolizes certain concepts that carry over.
And if there's one thing I know, it's don't fool with Mother Nature.
That's exactly right, yes. And interestingly enough, there was a great thinker who reinvigorated a lot of this understanding of the symbolism of performance magic. And his name was S.H. Sharpe. It was Samuel Henry Sharpe. He published his works under the name S.H. Sharpe. S.H. Sharpe was born in 1902 in England. And after he left school, he worked for the Asbestos and Rubber Company. Well, how'd you like to see that on your business card? Both asbestos and rubber, right? So
Yes.
the Asbestos and Rubber Company there in England. And he actually ascended in the ranks in that program to run their sports and conjuring division.
Oh.
In other words, the Asbestos and Rubber Company there in England, they made magic tricks.
Do they do many rubber band tricks? I love
So
those.
at one point, he got ill working. Imagine that, working in the asbestos and rubber factory. He got ill, and he had to have an open-air occupation due to some respiratory problems. So he started a poultry breeding farm and apiary, which he operated until his retirement in the 1960s. While he was pursuing that career, he began digging deeper into the history of magic, and he began to write articles for the Magic Circle in England. He reprinted and translated some foreign language magic books that had become very obscure, wrote some of his own books. He received some very prestigious awards amongst magicians. He was given the Melbourne Christopher Award for Advanced Delightful Delusions, a literary fellowship from the Academy of Magical Arts. That was in 1993. And he was given all of these awards because magicians were rediscovering the symbolic nature of magic, and that magic isn't just eye candy, lots of pretty things going by as flowers and silk handkerchiefs appear and things like that, but there is a meaning that can be found in the magic. And Mr. Sharpe had some great quotes on that. Now, Doc, have you ever read any of the books that S.H. Sharpe wrote? You're being a world traveler and philosopher, I imagine you've encountered some of his writings.
Well, yes, I have. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but...
Right. Yes, he to me, he was a genius man who had a certain genius for looking at the craft he loved, being a part of magic and the magic community, and seeing what no one else was seeing at that time. If you look at magic, performance magic coming through those years from the 30s, going into the 60s, you'd come out of the golden age of magic with Dante and Blackstone and Thurston and the great magicians of the past would have the huge touring shows that were big theatrical attractions and Houdini. And then things started to get smaller and things started to diminish, especially as we get into the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. We're having this new model for the magician to try to be more contemporary. You've got guys in suits who are working in nightclubs, and they have lots of jokes and lines, and tricks are tricks, and it kind of becomes a little bit more comedic. And the magicians are, in essence, divorcing themselves from the symbolic meaning of the magic they're doing.
Like I divorced my first 5 wives.
Yeah, and it was into that environment that S.H. Sharpe came and wrote his books and his articles for magicians. And I'm going to share with you just a couple of quotes here that S.H. Sharpe made in those writings. The first one, which I think is just devastatingly profound here, he said, "The underlying purpose of magic in its many aspects is not to deceive people, but to encourage them to approach life and the cosmos in a state of wonder."
Oh, my mind is blown, but I don't know what he meant.
So Sharpe is seeing that the reason that magic, these people who do magic tricks and magic illusions and present impossibilities to you visually by various means, the real purpose of them doing that is to rebirth in you a sense of wonder, being able to see life and the world and the universe as the magical place that it is. It's all grown very dull by means of repetition. The sun coming up and the wind blowing and lakes and trees and water and snow. It's all just natural stuff that goes on and goes on. But the truth is we live in a very magical world. Even on the simplest level, you can look and say, that's That's pretty amazing how a tree makes oxygen from carbon dioxide. That's pretty amazing how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. Those are amazing things. And if we lose the wonder of that, then part of the spark of life goes out in us. And we become dull to the wonderful things that are all around us. And that's very much the way we approach magic in the Sonic Cinema show. That's why we're showing you the magic we do. We talk about it. We make it symbolic for you in very obvious ways so you can go, that's what that's about. And hopefully, between seeing these images in these old films, the origins of cinema and these silent films and how magic connects with that, and then the magic we show you, we hope that relights that spark of wonder in your own soul and in your own mind.
Yes, but whatever you do, don't use that spark to start forest fires.
Yep, absolutely. That's an excellent point, Doc. And
Yeah.
listen, here's another S.H. Sharpe quote. This is terrific. It's my belief that magic would be a greater power for inspiration and diversion in the future than it has ever been in the past, if we really wish to make it so. But do we wish to make it so? And that is a comment he made to the magic community. And like I said, in Sonic Cinema Experience, we do want to make it so. We are trying to show you the power of magic, that symbolic value that it has into these strange and mysterious things that are really, really part of our world. So we agree with S.H. Sharpe, and our answer to that question is yes, we do want to make it a greater power for inspiration and diversion than it's ever been before. And when you come to our show, you're going to get that enthusiasm from us, and you're going to see some magic, and you're going to have your opportunity to say, I get it now. We live in a magical world.
Oh, I get it now. We do live in a magical world, don't we?
Yep. And so here's another Sharpe quote. This is one that I personally have used just in my mind as a kind of a guiding light for many, many years prior to even creating Sonic Cinema. S.H. Sharpe said, the re-souling, S-O-U-L-I-N-G, the re-souling of magic should be the goal of the 21st century magician. And I'm proud to say that there have been some in the magic community who have sought to underscore the combination of magic and meaning and bring that kind of meaning to people. We're seeing a movement with that in a lot of different ways, and we are delighted to be part of that as well.
That reminds me, Ed. Look at these shoes. Would they be worth resoling?
And one last quote from S.H. Sharpe here, and this pertains to what you were doing earlier, that marvelous piece of magic you learned on YouTube.
Yes.
S.H. Sharpe said, those who think that magic consists of doing tricks are themselves strangers to magic. Tricks are only the crude residue from which the lifeblood of magic has been drained.
Oh, my. I've become an energy vampire.
That's some strong words. But to boil that down, we could say, this piece of magic you went to YouTube to learn, and I realize you did that to entertain me, and I appreciate your effort. But what you were presenting to me there was a crude residual without any real magic in it. Counting cards and dividing numbers and thinking up formulas and putting all of that is just a process. A natural process, too much process that led us to a strange and unfamiliar place without any sense of wonder. So, like I said, your little trick there you tried to do is actually a good stopping off place for us to talk about the difference between magic, the magic that is symbolically represented in magic performance, and stuff that you might say, are just tricks.
Oh, I should have gone to TikTok to fool you.
Well, I think that's a terrific discussion, Doc, and I appreciate the chance to have that discussion with you. We're going to talk more about magic. We're going to talk about some of the people who have found a way to inject meaning into magic and bring that back to life, as S.H. Sharpe said. We'll talk about all of that in some future episodes coming up here for sure. And
that was just wonderful. Thank you, Ed. Oh, hey, do you think that there is any way that you could know the word I wrote on this notepad?
Well, no.
Ta-da! Look, it says no. Ha-ha! Boom! The doctor got one anyway. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am a mind reader.
You've been listening to the Weekly Flicker Picayune, a podcast celebrating the sonic cinema experience. For more information, visit halcyonwonders.com or find the Sonic Cinema Experience on social media. Today's show has been brought to you by the letter A and the dairy food cheese. Thanks for listening, and remember, keep your head up, your heart open, and your magic alive. So long for now.